spring has sprung and the garden is lush and vibrant with colour. Our seeds are growing really strong in the greenhouse and they are ready to be potted on. Personally, I love growing vegetables and edible flowers, so come and join me to make an edible flower wreath. So let's get started on our edible wreath ring. We are going to attach wire to our wreath ring, and then we are going to take some moss. Don't be stingy on the moss. And we are going to wrap the wire around the moss to attach it to the frame. And just keep going all the way around until you've covered all of the ring. Our last bunch of moss attached to our wreath ring, we're going to have something that looks like this. It's going to be nice and even all the way around, and then the fun begins. So before me I have a selection of edible flowers and herbs. I'm going to start with something that will trail slightly. So I have before me some different types of mint here. What we do is I'm going to nip out the bottom. These have been soaking in water, so they're going to have lots of moisture in them. So I'm going to just nip out the bottom, grab a handful of moss, and I'm going to create a little nest of moss for it. So hold it on there and around here. Squidge it all in with my hands. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on my wreath ring. I can always add more moss on afterwards. I just want to get it fixed on. Again, taking my wire and wrapping it around the moss and the flower or herb that I'm attaching. And don't worry, you won't see the wire. It's going to look something like that. Next, I'm going to add some colour. So I'm going to add some violas. You can use pansies, and they've got a lovely peppery taste. So they're really lovely to have on salads. So we've got these lovely violas, and again, I'm going to grab the moss and wrap it around the plant, make a little moss nest, and then I'm going to place this onto the wreath. And I might put it slightly at an angle, like so. Take my wire and attach it to the wreath ring. So I'm going to put another viola with this one. And you can just play around with it and just be creative. Wrapping it really tight onto the wreath ring so it all holds in place nice and securely. And do a cluster of 3 flowers. So I might next add in, I think I'll do another viola because I think that will look really pretty. They look a little bit long. I'm just going to nip out the bottom just so it means I use that little bit less space up on the wreath ring and I can get a few more flowers in there. What I'm doing is I'm staggering them around the wreath so I get this lovely full effect with my flowers. Okay, next up I have got some sugar snap peas. These are just heavenly. You can either just nip the tops out to put on your salad, or you can have the actual peas themselves on your salad. So they're a really versatile vegetable to grow in the garden, and they'll look lovely because they'll bellow and trail off the wreath, so they'll look really pretty. I've also got some marigolds, although they'll be really good on the wreath, so to ward off any pests that might be really interested in your beautiful edible wreath like you are, because you don't want them to get to it before you do. So I just took a little bit off the bottom, and this time I'm going to hold it on the wreath ring and grab my moss and do it that way. So you can do it both ways. You can either wrap the moss around it before you place it, or you can hold it all together at the same time. However your hands work best, really. And add a lovely red one next to it, ready orange, bursting through with hot summer vibes in this colour palette. Okay, so I'm going to keep wrapping that around there. And doesn't matter, you can't see the wire on the wreath, so be as messy as you want with it. Okay, so it's really starting to take shape now. I'm going to keep working around. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to sort of spread out the colour, add the herbs in amongst the flowers. I've got some lovely nasturtium, which is a beautiful red variety, and they will add wonderful colour with their fabulous edible flowers. Marigolds. And this is a lovely thing to do when you get a slightly duller, wet day. But what the moss is doing is it's really holding in all of that moisture that we need to have on here to keep the flowers alive. And what you can do is you can either sink your wreath into a bucket of water every couple of days, or you can spritz it, depends what you prefer to do. It's very exciting, it's taking shape. Actually nearly there already. Lots of moss, so we keep all that lovely moisture in for us. Nearly at the end, it's very exciting. Do another viola there. Again, just nipping out the bottom, just so it uses up a little bit less space. If you wanted to kind of tease it out a little bit to make it a bit flatter. Okay, I'm going to add some more nasturtiums because these will trail really, really long down off the wreath, so they're going to look really beautiful. The fun thing about this is you can just get really creative. It's almost like designing a mini garden, almost like a fairy garden. And moss you can get from any garden centre. Make sure you pre-soak it before you start doing this if it needs a little bit of wetting. It's amazing how much moisture moss actually holds for you. I think I've only got room for about, it's really starting to take shape now. And the beauty of these are you can either have them laying down flat and then put a bowl of fruit in the middle of it. And it's a great centerpiece for when you're hosting a lunch or dinner party. And you can even encourage your guests to take from the wreath. So it's quite exciting. It's like a real interactive activity. Okay, so I've just got a space for one more flower. So I'm going to add another viola because it's such a lovely colour. Attach that moss round and wrap that final one in place. And then we'll see what it looks like. So we're nearly there. I'm just doing a final piece, wrapping that last, really making sure that's a nice, firm, secure fixing. The lovely thing about this is you can kind of squish it down if you wanted to. Lovely, the sun's actually come out just as I finished the wreath. That's good timing. So we're going to place this on the table and have a look and see what it looks like. The grand unveiling. Place it on our wreath ring. Because it's been sitting in the bucket while I've been making it, I can just fluff it back out again where it may have got a little squashed. But doesn't that look absolutely beautiful? And I've even got some wildlife. Little snails are joining me for lunch. Not going to eat them, obviously. But yeah, very pleased with that. We can have it laying down, or we can hang it on the door. But either way, take it out, maybe just double check to see if you need anything else. The lovely thing about this is you can keep adding more if you want to. All you'll have to decide is where you're going to put it.